back to Fooding with Jus-Nice. Today I got a special dinner for you tonight, and I'm going to be making my dinner for tomorrow, kind of setting it up in the crock pot and show you how easy it is. Today I'm going to be making cube steaks with smothered with mushroom, onions, and green peppers with a little gravy, kind of finished off in the oven after I sear everything and cook everything and put it together. Then I'm going to be making some mashed potatoes, and I'm going to be making some Brussels sprouts with some onions and roasted in the oven. So I'll show you how easy that is. And then I'm going to be searing my pot roast with all my vegetables and then throwing it in the crock pot and finishing it for tomorrow. So come with me. Let's go. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to be making my cube steaks, and I'm pretty much going to be putting them in flour. I'm going to season them up a little bit with my everything seasoning. I got a little bit of this brisket and prime rib rub, so I'm going to use this a little bit on them. I'm going to put a little bit of this brisket seasoning in the flour, and I'm also going to put a little bit of this on the steaks. It's a nice shake. Got a little bit of this. You know, I like this seasoning. I always use this. It's just got a good flavor. Flour. Okay, you know I use a little bit of my everything seasoning, not too much though, because you got some of the flour. You're gonna mix your flour up like this. Okay. Then I'm gonna put them like this, just so I can make sure that I season the other side. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what I'm going to do is just drop those. They're going to look like that. You just want to get a nice sear on them, nothing too much, too crazy. Just let that flour kind of fry up. That's about perfect. Say about a minute, 2 minutes. So what I'm going to start doing is, as my cube steaks finish up, I'm going to start pretty much cutting my vegetables, getting them things ready, and I can kind of throw them in for the pot roast when that's done. And these carrots are for my pot roast. I'm not putting carrots in my cube. Okay, so what I'm doing is just getting my carrots cut, getting them out the way. With those, I like them whole because that's kind of like my vegetable that I'm gonna have the most of my roast. So in here I got my potatoes. I peeled those. I just threw them in some water. You know, I was told that if you start off with cold water, they cook more evenly. That's what I do. So ever since then I've been doing it like that. Cover them up, let those boil slowly while everything else is getting ready. That's it with the celery. You don't need to do too much. Just let it in there. Bowl. This bowl is going to be for my cube steaks, and this bowl is going to be for my pot roast, and that's how I pretty much distribute the onions and the peppers. Okay, so what I did was cut the onions in half. And now for my pot roast, I'm just going to cut them like long ways like this and just keep them in chunks. And now for my steaks, you could do them anyway, but I'm just... My peppers, I just cut around them, you know, just Kind of like a square. Kind of making a square and it come right off. Take my 2 roasts, season them pretty good with a nice little brisket rub. Add my little garlic salt. Pepper. Put a little bit of everything on there. Of course, my young Goya. Make everything taste better. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this side with this brisket seasoning. Take a little bit of everything, put that on there. Turn that around. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm getting the pan real hot, put a little bit of grease in there. Take both of my roasts and right in that grease. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these like this. I'm going to try to sear each side pretty good. And what this is going to do is going to hold all that juice inside of the roast so it doesn't escape too much. That's it. Give it a quick second. Finish them off on that other side. Let them get that caramelization on them. Roast is going. Just searing that. I come back over here to my Brussels sprouts. I'm just going to cut these in half. It was I added a little bit of green peppers and a little bit of onions out of my steak bowl to my Brussels sprouts, and I'm gonna fry those up with that just so they can have a little bit more flavor. And then I'm gonna toss them with my glaze and then put them back on the pan so they can finish roasting. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my roast, put my roast right in the crock pot like that. What I'm doing is I'm going to take my pot roast vegetables, throw them right in there just for a quick saute. Kind of let them cook in there for a few seconds. So next what I'm going to do is add a little bit of garlic. So with these vegetables, you know, what I'm doing is just pretty much trying to get some of the flavors out of them and kind of pull that flavor out of them. It's called sweating the vegetables. So what I'm going to do now is just take my vegetables, dump that right on top of that roast like that, with all those juices. I also got a pouch of this. It's called a slow cooker sauce, a pub style pot roast sauce. It's really good. I'm just gonna take this and just dump that slowly over it. Put a little bit of water in there to get the rest of it out. Put that at the bottom since there's a lot of meat at the bottom. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of this kitchen bouquet. Like that, do his thing in there. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. All I'm doing is just season them a little bit right now. Putting some black pepper. Cooking them in a little bit of oil. Some onions and some green pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of sea salt because it could be a little bit bitter. Okay, what I'm going to do now, add a little bit of this pecan liquid smoke, a couple drops. I'm also going to add a little bit of balsamic vinaigrette. A little bit of olive oil. And a couple pinches of some brown sugar. Toss the onions up in there and let it cook for a few minutes. And right here, I'm going to just finish it off with a little bit of honey. Now what I'm going to do is roast them for about 15 minutes in the oven on 350. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vegetables from my steaks. Cube steaks. Just saute these for a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little quick gravy out of this. That's in there. Here's my roast right here, ready to go for tomorrow. Got enough liquid, got the vegetables, got the roast at the bottom. Done. So as these vegetables cook down a little bit, add a little bit of garlic. Let that little baby get it going. I like to keep a little bit of olive oil right here. So what I'm going to do now to make the gravy is I'm going to get this butter going like this. And then you know that flour that we had back from the cube steaks that we were breading, I saved that just in case I needed to make a roux or a gravy, which I do. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. Probably about like that much. I don't know how much that is. I'll probably say about 4 tablespoons. So what I'm doing now is just getting that flour cooked in with that butter. And I'm cooking that flour so all that starch cooks out of it and I can start making my gravy. Butter's melted. We're coming along. I'm going to add a little bit of this kitchen bouquet. This stuff is great. I think it has like 26 vegetables in it. I mean, you can't get a better flavor when you're cooking like a gravy or something like that than this. Now once that kitchen bouquet starts to cook with the butter, the roux is done, the vegetables are done, now I'm going to start adding my water. So I added about 16 ounces of water. And I just let this simmer for a minute. And I said let it cook for about 3 minutes, boil up a little bit, kind of come together. And then we're going to pour this right over our smothered cube steaks. The gravy is done. What you're going to do is you're just going to pour Glaze over those cube steaks like that. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of these Brussels sprouts on here. This is what they're looking like, nice and toasty, caramelized.
Yes. This gravy.
Add a little bit of mashed potatoes on there.
Thank you.
And then this is the steaks. This is what they look like when they're done. Put a little bit of gravy on here. And a little extra little piece fell apart. Mushrooms. Pour that over the mash like that. And there you go. Cube steak, mashed potatoes, onions, peppers, mushrooms, and some Brussels sprouts. Okay, here's a taste tester. Got the mashed potatoes and the gravy. Brussels sprouts. Yeah. Just bang it. Here's the steak. Nice and tender. Perfect. Alright, thanks again YouTube for watching my channel. Remember to tune in, like my video, subscribe to my channel, Fooding with Jus-Nice. I hope you like the recipe. Tomorrow I'll be making that pot roast in the crock pot, so see how that comes out. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.